Money in the Bank 2025 is officially in the books, and we have got to talk about it. So this is going to be pretty just kind of going here. It's going to be a lot of not really much editing, and we're going to be talking a lot about what I thought WWE got right and what WWE got wrong when it comes to the Money in the Bank show. And we have got to start with the big return, the big reveal at the end of the show with not R-Truth any longer, but Ron Killings coming back, making his return, I guess you would call that. I don't know. Back to the WWE. Again, back, I guess. He's technically not even been gone because I don't even think his contract expired. But R-Truth, Ron Killings, is back. And now that he is back, I have a lot of things that I want to talk about with this. First being, one thing I thought WWE got wrong with this was Triple H acting like, did you enjoy the show? It's all part of the show. This was, kind of hinting at the fact it was a work. This was very clearly not a work. And there's been reports that have come out since then about Nick Khan was the one that reached out and kind of was the middleman to get this done. Seemed like they met in the middle with some things. And I thought that wording was pretty interesting. And just playing a little bit of conspiracy theorist and devil's advocate with this, it almost sounds to me a little bit like WWE may have approached Ron Killings, R-Truth, whatever you want to call him, and said, like, we really don't think we can pay you whatever salary this is for like a comedic role, so we're going to have to let you go. Maybe he's at the point of his career where maybe he wants to do a little bit more than that, and they just didn't see him in that role. And then, of course, with like the people going crazy and all the commotion that release of that news calls, they decide to bring him back and kind of meet in the middle and say, okay, we'll let you do more serious things. We can pay you this salary, but you're going to have to be at least a little bit more serious. We can bring you back as what you did before, like in TNA and those type of things. And they reach an agreement that way. That is just like me being a conspiracy theorist about what may have went down, because this was very clearly not a work. Okay. Like, I know Triple H sometimes likes to really try and play the fans like we're stupid or that we think everything's a work. And Hulk Hogan, of course, once famously said, you work yourself into a shoot and the shoot's a work, whatever the famous Hulk Hogan tweet is, work is a shoot and the shoot, whatever. I don't think this was that. I really just think that they mutually agreed to part ways because Carlito obviously will be leaving WWE. So they did decide to make those cuts, and then they saw, and to WWE's credit on the back end of this, and one thing they got right, I think, was bringing him back and listening to the fans about, like, look, R-Truth's someone that we like. He's been in our lives for a long time. We don't want to see him go away. We want to see him retire within the WWE. And they decided to listen to the fans. And that's one thing I can give WWE and Triple H credit for, is they really do listen to the fans sometimes. And then there's sometimes they don't. And we'll get to that right after this, because one of the other big things that happened on the show was LA Knight not winning the Money in the Bank. But I'll get to that in a second. So, yeah, to me, this was, WWE did listen to the fans. I think it was a big W that they did bring R-Truth back. Was excited to see him. I don't know where this is going, though, which is both exciting and interesting and kind of nerve-wracking for me, because I'm going to be like 100% honest here. I don't know if this is leading to like a John Cena Ron Killings match at, looking at the pay-per-view calendar, is it like, I guess like King of the Ring would be my guess. I don't think it's like a Summerslam match. So maybe we're looking at like King of the Ring as a possibility for that, is if John Cena is going to be even on that card. I don't know. I just don't know where this is going. And it's cool that they bring him back, but to me, John Cena still has other stuff he has to get to in this retirement tour before it ends. It is June 8th as I'm recording this. It is the morning after Money in the Bank. And there's other people I want to see John Cena wrestle. I'm just being honest. There's other stories and layers to his character that I think they need to get to before he turns back, if he does, before December hits and it's the end of John Cena's retirement tour and the end of his run in WWE, period. There's just other things I think that we have to get to. I mentioned it in my preview, CM Punk being a big one in that, but there's others as well. Cody is still lurking, obviously, so we have the Cody thing. There's just a lot that has to be done, and Ron Killings being a big part of that, I don't know I love, But that doesn't mean I don't love the fact that he's back within WWE, because I do. And if you saw my video talking about it, you could see that I was frustrated and a little concerned with when he left. So it was good to see him back in WWE, and it was a very nice surprise. I didn't know who that was. I was like, CM Punk? That wouldn't make sense. And then R-Truth was like, oh, whoa, okay, holy shit. So it was cool to see that, and very excited that R-Truth is back in the WWE. Let's get to the other big news of the night, and the main thing I think WWE got wrong. And overall, I will say I enjoyed this card quite a bit. So I think a lot of things are going to go, and they got right, and they did well, and this was a good card overall. It was a fun day overall. But one thing, and the big thing that I think they got wrong, was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins winning Money in the Bank. Now, one thing they got right, I guess I'm not going to do that whole back and forth all the time, but the match was really good. So let's just kind of start there. The match was really good. The spot where Chad Gable did the thing where he put the ladder on, climbed up, and then LA Knight ran up the ladder and did the back suplex off. That was awesome. That was probably the best spot of either matches. You also had the Mexican Destroyer from Penta, which was great, on the ladder. Really cool spots, really good match. Solo, I thought, came out being the biggest star of the match. I thought it was going to be Andrade. And besides, obviously, Seth that won, I thought Solo came out looking great. He was hilarious, first of all, and I love the fact that they're allowing Solo to show more of his personality from like when he was in NXT. So I thought that was a huge win for Solo. And then, of course, him now getting inserted into the Jacob Fatu storyline. We have officially gotten to Jacob Fatu is a babyface. So that is something I'm very, very excited to see. I think they pulled the trigger at the right time for that, because people are dying to cheer on Jacob Fatu. He is an amazing specimen in the ring, and can't wait to see him now as, you know, maybe a slightly different character, or maybe not. We have seen WWE in the past have baby faces, even like a Roman. He's technically a babyface, but he's just pretty much a tweener. He doesn't really act different. People just cheer him. Could totally see that with Jacob Fatu as well. But I thought Solo and just his storyline and everything going on with him, huge winner of this match. You could feel his presence in the ring a lot. And when you're in a ring with someone like Seth Rollins, even someone like LA Knight, even someone like Penta, who's super over with the crowd, Solo capturing a lot of big moments in this match and really feeling his presence in the ring. Huge win for Solo. Not a big night for Andrade. Us Andrade stockholders, we're not happy. We're on the phone. We're considering selling. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. I'm going to be honest with you. Didn't get much of a reaction. It wasn't great. So we'll reconvene about that on another day. We'll meet. We'll discuss. But it's not looking good for our Andrade stock. Now let's get to the decision to not have LA Knight win this match and have Seth Rollins win this match. So I'm going to start with the LA Knight side of it, because the Seth Rollins side of it is interesting. I don't think necessarily Seth Rollins winning is a bad outcome for Seth Rollins in that story. Why I think it's a bad outcome overall is because LA Knight should have won this match. So Triple H said a couple years ago, and this has already been making the rounds, so I'm not the first person to bring this back up, that good things come to those who wait. And that was talking about scared, maybe not the right word, just maybe scared, I don't know. Them not wanting to push LA Knight. That was the response to the question was, you guys will not push LA Knight. Why? I'm paraphrasing. And he said, good things come to those who wait. And when that happened, my thoughts was, they want to see him continue to be over. They want to see him get more organically over with the crowd and make sure that it's something besides just yeet. I'm sorry, besides yes. We're going to get to a J comparison in a minute. So that I got at the time. And I was willing to give Triple H the benefit of the doubt, because honestly, he did deserve that benefit, because they've been great since he's been booking, right? Like, we can agree with that. I think most of us can agree with that, at least. To look at that now, 2-3 years later, whenever that was, and to see the way they've booked LA Knight, and the thing that was good to those who wait was a U.S. title run that was pretty bad, is because of the booking, is disappointing, is extremely, extremely disappointing. And I compare LA Knight to Jey Uso all the time because both of them are over with a catchphrase. And I think Jay's obviously more over with like kids and things like that, but both of them are very over. Now, Jay to me is slightly more over. He also gets pushed and booked way better, so that's probably why. But LA Knight has been able to keep up this level for multiple years, and he is one of the biggest stars in the WWE. He's not Cody Rhodes level. He's not Roman Reigns level, but he is in that probably low second to third tier, I would think, of who people care about, right? And that's what wrestling is about. Who do I care about? Who do I emotionally get behind and invested in? And LA Knight continuously gets people emotionally invested in what he's doing because he's really good at this, and he's been doing this for a very, very long time. And what bothered me, besides the fact he didn't win the match, was now this is the third Money in the Bank match in a row, by the way, that he has arguably been the most over person going into the match. And they know that. They booked the match like he's going to win because of the fact that he's the most over person in the match, and then he loses. That is what's most frustrating. And for 3 years in a row, it was Damian Priest, it was Drew McIntyre, and now it was Seth Rollins. They've went with a heel winning that over one of the biggest baby faces in the company. And that's really interesting. And if you look back at who've won the Money in the Bank on both sides recently, it's basically all been heels. Naomi as well, right? Tiffany Stratton last year was still technically a heel. They hadn't converted her yet, although people were cheering like crazy for her. And they ended up eventually having her become a babyface, turn on Nia Jax and did and all that good stuff. But she was technically a heel at the time. I don't know if they know how to book. I don't know if they know how to book babyface Money in the Bank people. Just straight up. And looking at this next year, I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind that they tend to just do this. And it's really frustrating that they went again with a swerve where LA Knight, oh my God, he might win. He goes to hit the BFT on Seth Rollins, and then nope. Seth Rollins, counter, curb stomp, climb up, win. Where was CM Punk? Who knows? That was odd, right? You take him out, calls him the match. He doesn't care, I guess, whatever. It didn't show up. I thought that was insane. When Seth was climbing the ladder at the end, I just could have swore that CM Punk was going to come out, and he didn't. And that was just another thing that was kind of crazy to me. And so LA Knight not winning this proves that they do not believe in LA Knight as a top tier guy. They see him as a probably high mid-carder. It's the same concerns I have with the Drew McIntyre, but Drew McIntyre, they've given the title to. They've put him in main event spots. They've put him in the ring consistently with top talent within the WWE. They don't do that with LA Knight pretty much at all. They really do see him as like a mid-card guy, and mid-card guys don't get the reaction he gets when his music hits, when he hits the catchphrase, when he hits the finish, when he wins matches. Mid-card guys don't get that for 3 years. And so that is where, as an LA Knight fan, I've given up. I've just given up. And the last 10 minutes of that match, 10 to 15 minutes, was great. I was actually literally on the edge of my seat. Palms were sweating. I'm not even going to lie to you. Palms were sweating, okay? I was a little nervous because I really wanted LA Knight to win that match, and it was a great ending. It was a great finish. So I was disappointed in not the match itself, but the outcome. I thought the match was very good, but the outcome was not great. And now we'll see with Seth Rollins, right? He has this briefcase that we have a world title match on Monday. Is right there on a platter. Do they do it? Do they do a thing where he goes to cash in? Oh, now CM Punk is awake. Now he decided to turn on the TV and see. I don't know. So there's a little intrigue there with the Seth Rollins run as Mr. Money in the Bank, but much more intrigue and happiness if LA Knight won, and disappointment overall that I guess this is just the career of LA Knight at this point, an upper mid-card guy who they refuse to pull the trigger on. So let's get to a couple other things that I thought that WWE did get right. Let's change it up a little bit because, again, I like the card overall. The card overall was good. Like, the matches were good, and the best match of the night, in my opinion, was the Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria match. And this is something WWE has nailed, folks. This rivalry, they've nailed it. Everything that they wanted out of this, they're getting. Lyra Valkyria is becoming a bigger star, in my opinion. She's working some amazing matches. Becky is getting back over more organically as a heel, in my opinion, with the crowd. She's doing some great work right now. And Becky has proven that, goddamn, can she still go? I mean, this was honestly a hell of a match. I enjoyed myself watching this match. I'm not even going to lie to you. I really, really enjoyed myself watching this. Would have loved a stipulation, like a street fight or something. It just kind of seemed like they just let them do whatever anyway. I don't even know if the ref was counting half the time, to be honest, when they were outside the ring, which is perfectly fine. I don't care. Fine. That's fine. Thought the adding that stipulation at the end was a great idea because it allowed Lyra to attack her the same way Becky did. And we called exactly that in my preview. I thought Becky would win, Lyra would raise her hand, and then attack her afterwards, because that is what a babyface would do, right? You raise her hand, you know, you're still that good person, but she's trying to rub it in a little bit too much, and you're like, all right, screw this, man. And then you attack her. Perfectly executed, very well done, and I just really enjoyed this match. I thought it was the match of the night, and I had an excellent time, and hopefully you did as well. I had an excellent time watching this match, and they both did a great job. It was a lot of fun, great spots, just a good match, man. Just a really good old wrestling match, and just enjoyed this. So they have gotten this right. Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch, they will probably work one more time, and it'll probably be a stipulation, and I will be looking forward to that, and I imagine it's going to be at the Evolution PLE, would be my guess, but we shall see. But yeah, really excited for what's to come with those two. They are cooking right now with that rivalry. And another thing I thought that they got right was adding the fifth match. I've complained constantly about there only being 4 matches on this card because that's stupid. And they added a fifth one. Now, did they do it the morning of? It seems that way. Would Triple H admit that? Of course he wouldn't. The match itself, was it good? Not particularly. It almost was a squash. But it was still cool to have a fifth match on the card. Again, we probably could have cooked up something a little better with, 2-3 weeks of a build at least. Like, didn't have to be that, right? We could have done something, but I guess we'll take a fifth match where we can get one. And it was cool to see Dom and a mid-card belt on a PLE. Like, it's been one of my biggest critiques is, unless it's like a PLE where it's 2 nights with 13, 14 matches, these mid-card belts aren't getting on PLEs really at all. So it was cool having Dom on there, having the Intercontinental title on there, getting some heat with the crowd. Like, it was cool. It was cool overall. It did its job, did its purpose. Got Octagon Jr. to WWE ring in front of WWE fans, in front of WWE fans' eyes. So ultimately, it did its job, it did its purpose, and it was cool. And it was cool to have a fifth match, and it was cool that they added that. And last but not least, Naomi winning the Money in the Bank. The women's Money in the Bank match was a big W. She deserved it. I predicted her to win, as did many people, and she did. Was very, very excited to see that. I thought the women's match overall was pretty solid, but I have to say I predicted it as the match of the night, and it was not, in my opinion, so it was a tad disappointed, I guess. But overall, still a really, really solid match, and was really happy that Naomi won. Again, she's doing some of the best work of her career, and for her to win that match is just a tip in her cap for the work she's put in. She's been doing a great job, and really excited for what's to come. And really excited for what's to come for her. And again, her winning that briefcase adds a lot of intrigue. To me, adds more intrigue than Seth winning to their current story, because now what's going to happen with that, right? Like, Naomi, she has the briefcase. She's feuding still with Jade. She's feuding with Bianca. Bianca and Jade haven't really, they haven't scratched that yet, but we'll get there as well, I would assume. So, like, there's a lot of stuff here, right? Like, does Naomi cash in and win kind of soon, and then Bianca or Jade, probably Bianca, beat her for the belt? Is that something that happens? Is that what they do? Does Bianca or Jade have a match for the belt? Maybe it's a 3 or 4-way at Evolution, and Naomi cashes in there and screws them both over and wins the belt. Like, there's a lot they can do with this, and I'm excited to see where they take it. Naomi's going to have a great briefcase, by the way. I was starting to think about briefcase designs as they win, because I'm just weird like that. She's going to have a great briefcase, caution tape all around it. She's going to have a great briefcase. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Seth Rollins, I don't know. I don't even know if he's going to have one, because he might cash in tomorrow. But very, very excited for Naomi to win. Absolutely deserves it. Thought she was already looking like one of the stars of the match before she won, and she was great. She was fantastic, as she always is. Other big stars of the match, Rhea looked super strong, looked excellent as always. It's so amazing with her how she is really such an excellent performer. And when you're watch her in the ring, you can feel her aura and her presence, no matter how many people she's in the ring with, and it doesn't really matter who she's in the ring with. And she was in the ring with some stars in this match, and she just has a presence about her that, man, she's a star. She is just an absolute star. Obviously, I'm not breaking news, but it's just, you get reminders sometimes when you watch her that she's just a star. So that was really cool to see her. Obviously, always book strong, continue that. Alexa Bliss, thought came out looking great. Again, I admitted I'm not a huge Alexa Bliss fan personally, but I know she's a big favorite with the general wrestling community, which again is fine. No hate here, whatever. She's just not my cup of tea. Perfectly fine. Again, there's no hate over here. I know how popular she is. So that was cool to see her. They did the face-off with her and Rhea. That got a pretty loud reaction. So I thought that was cool that they did that. And she got booked pretty strong, and she usually does, honestly. Alexa Bliss gets usually booked pretty strong. They continued that trend. The other three kind of younger talent in this match, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, I thought all came out looking good. So overall, man, it was a really fun day of wrestling. Wasn't always happy with the results, but I thought it was really fun overall. Enjoyed the kind of all-day wrestling affair. I honestly think we'll see more of that in the future, which I'm kind of cool with. I mean, more wrestling the better, expose to new people, all that good stuff. So overall, was a pretty fun and pretty enjoyable day of wrestling, despite some results being a little bit iffy. I should also mention that because I mentioned just the ending of the main event, I thought the main event itself was fine. The Logan Paul spot on the table was insane, as he tends to do some crazy stuff as always, but I thought the main event was solid, and I'll just leave it at that. It was solid, but I did enjoy seeing R-Truth, Ron Killings back. And so that'll do it, man. Money in the Bank is in the books. We are on our way now. We're on the road to SummerSlam. We have a ways to go, but we're getting there. King of the Ring we have coming up, which will be huge as far as who's going to challenge for these belts. So we'll do some previews for that. We also have Evolution coming up as well. Excited for the all-woman show. Think they're going to put on a banger. So really looking forward to that as well. Hopefully that becomes a yearly thing that we see. And there's a lot of good stuff cooking in the women's division right now. So be a good time to pay off some of those stories. So looking forward to Evolution and the summer ahead quite a bit, and all of the content I have planned, the rankings and the analysis and everything in between. It's going to be a pretty fun summer for us wrestling fans. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I appreciate it, and I will see you all this week.